Moeen Ali indeed. England's number 2 spinner, don't forget. Who has bowled, I don't know how many overs in this match compared to Adil Rashid, England's number 1 spinner. Is going to be bowling to KL Rahul. Much excitement downstairs in the in the lunch area. As Adam Collins, the Australian cricket writer, he's very, very excited because he thinks KL Rahul might be able to surpass the great Charles Bannerman's record for the highest percentage of runs scored in an innings, and that was in the very first Test match back in 1877-78.
And what was that?
His percentage was 67 point something percent. So Adam's he desperately wants Punt to get out because he keeps on scoring some runs.
We've got more records to break.
Yes, I mean, that's quite an arcane one, really, as Moeen's into Rahul, who turns this around the corner, a little glance down to Adil Rashid, who had an over before lunch, the lesser-spotted Rashid.
Did he?
He did.
Oh, I missed it.
He did. Was that his 75th of the series? I think it might have been.
73rd of the series.
73rd, I beg your pardon. 73rd over of the series.
Might be interesting to work out his
spinner.
bonus per over.
Yes, yes, it would be rather. Now then, Moeen Ali's got the left-handed Punt in his sights, and Punt played an extraordinary shot before lunch. He hit a one-handed 6 into the pavilion. It was quite some shot. It brought mirth to Ben Stokes. We've got a deepish mid-off, and there's a mid-on, short extra, 2 slips, backward point, man on the offside fence and leg side fence. So Moeen is in, and Punt is forward.
He can bat.
The offside, there's no run.
He's one of them fellas who can bat. I mean, he's still a young kid, isn't he, really? Just come into the scene. He's found it a little bit tricky behind the stumps, but managed to cling on to most things that they've nicked. But I reckon, give him some time, you'll see him whacking it around in Test match cricket.
He's an exciting prospect, isn't he? His full ball that's well flighted is pushed down to the offside. There's no run, yes.
And the other young fella,
Prithvi Shaw?
That's it.
Yes. There's a lot of excitement about him.
Yeah, there's a few lurking.
I sometimes wonder if India's problem is their embarrassment of riches. It makes selection tricky sometimes. As Moeen bowls again, short, and it's cut into the ground, goes up in the air and is grabbed by a second slip. There is no run. 168 for 5. Is Punt the man to try to draw a game over 4 hours? We're going to find out shortly. As this ball's driven nicely square of the wicket, and they'll pick up a single. He moves to 13, 169 for 5. Is he your man when your back's against the wall and you need to bat out for another 62 overs?
Well,
we'll see.
We'll see, and you've got to be adaptable. You know, the cricketers nowadays, I don't like them. They seem to just be, I do it this way or do it that way. You know.
Yes.
Let's have a bit of flexibility.
Yes.
Let's meet in the middle.
Moeen bowls, and that's turned into the onside by Rahul. Quite flexibly down to backward square leg where Adil Rashid does the fielding. 170 for 5.
I mean, one thing
110.
Sorry, one thing obviously, talented. You start with the talent, don't you?
Yep.
And then you try to mould with coaching and senior players. And
look at Jos Buttler.
There you go.
I mean, this summer has been a summer that's proved his adaptability. I mean, you think of him as a biffer and a basher, but not just in red ball cricket. He's one of his defining innings of the summer was that tremendous 100 that he scored to win a game against Australia, and that wasn't a biffer around kind of innings. It was a marshal the tail sort of innings. He's got that adaptability is what's made him what he is. Noggin, yeah. Noggin.
That's all you need. You need to teach cricketers nowadays, because I think they get in their own little bubble of technique and own little bubble of white ball, red ball, this ball, 100 ball, 20 ball, 20 all this.
And playing my own way.
And playing my own way. I think we've got to try and get them out of that somehow and say, listen, you're a great player in every kind of cricket, every form of the game. Apply yourself and mentally more than, technically sometimes, just to adapt.
Well, here's a man who's been trying to adapt to the red ball this summer, which he wasn't expecting to. Adil Rashid is going to bowl from the Vauxhall end with a forward short leg and a slip. And Rahul drives elegantly through extra cover. That's a superb shot. Broad is after it. And despite having a broken hip, manages to dive and stop the ball with his right hand inside the boundary. He's either got an incredibly high pain threshold or it's one of the less severe breakages of a rib. Two more to the total, 172 for 5. It's a bit baffling, isn't it?
Is there a less severe break?
I don't know. Rashid is in again, and this is short and cut, but well fielded at a backward point by a swiftly moving Moeen. Two-hand grab on that, like a cat pouncing on a fast-moving mouse. Rashid once more. Forward short leg and slip to the right-hander. It's over the wicket, and that just drifts away with a little bit of turn into Bairstow's gloves, left alone by Rahul. Rahul on 112. Punt on 13. 172 for 5. The target 292 runs away. That's Rashid is in, and that's studiously defended back to the square to Moeen at backward point. There's no run.
I feel a little bit, I don't know, sort of cheated really, that we didn't see a little bit more of this from the other Indian batsmen, because we know it's in the locker, didn't we?
Yes.
It's been a lovely 100.
Very elegant, very beautiful, some super shots.
Yeah.
Next delivery is worked up to mid-on, who's deep enough for them to be able to take the single. Anderson picks it up. 173 for 5.
What was his highest score apart from this? 20.
What was his highest? What was Rahul's highest score before this?
Was
in the
30,
series?
37 that he got in the first. Well, he got 2 37s, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
feel slightly. What's the word I'm looking for?
You're yearning for more, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I mean, in part, it's because they've been quite spicy conditions, haven't
Well,
they?
yeah, but
I mean, all openers have found it quite tricky. The balls have
Yeah.
moved around quite a bit. It's the first time we've had a sort of slightly more placid surface, isn't it? As Rashid is into Pantu, plays a beautiful backward cut to a short ball. It's running down to the boundary for 4. He waited for it. It wasn't a great ball. Turned his wrists, and I wouldn't say he smacked the pants off that, didn't Pant, but he certainly stroked the pants off it elegantly down to the boundary for
Typical.
4. 177 for 5.
Typical sort of wicket-keeper's shot, isn't it? Low centre of gravity, getting down low, knees bent, hands low, head right over the ball. All you've got to do is get a bat on it and be 4 down there.
Did you hear Ebony before lunch?
I did.
I mean, what's your considered opinion on a planned pun?
I don't know.
Are we going to let her get away with it, or are we going to shame her for eternity?
It's the last day, isn't it? It's the last day. It's the last day of school.
Oh, like when you used to, when you weren't actually even in the classrooms, you'd go and count worms or something. The class would take place outside, wouldn't it? You'd be sort of drawing. Moeen into Rahul, who comes forward in defence, pushes out the offside. There's no run. If you haven't seen that moment of shocking unprofessionalism, Ebony Rainford Brent,
Oh, you're not letting her get away with it.
you can head to the BBC TMS Twitter page. You also see Simon Mann's very schoolmasterly admonishment as Moeen bowls, and down a wicket comes Rahul, who drives it in the end. Didn't quite get to hit it over long off. He's hit it instead to deep extra cover, where Sam Curran has run around to his right to field and thrown in. 179 for 515 to Rahul.
Squeezed it, didn't he? Sort of came down the wicket and made it into almost a York and just sort of punch squeeze.
A punch squeeze. Yes. Yes, it really is the mob happy day.
Yeah, but good use of the feet. That's what you've got to do to it when there's rough.
Moeen in once more, pushed out to the offside, and there's a load of space in the offside. Easy runs. It's Cook lollops to his left to field. 180 for 5, 116 to Rahul.
Yeah, what it was me. I mean, Rahani. We saw the brilliance of Kohli. That this fella. I mean, these guys are really beautiful batsmen to
Top
watch.
notch, aren't they?
Top notch. And okay, spicy conditions. You would have just thought that they would have made a better fist of it.
Yes. No, I'm entirely with you. Today might be their day.
It's too late.
It is a bit. Moeen into Punt, who drives a full ball up to wide mid-off, where Stuart Broad does the fielding. They canter through for a single. 181 for 5. Punt 18.
Just always got wickets at really nice times, didn't we?
Yes.
All summer. Crucial times.
England did indeed do that.
Yeah.
They got those wickets just when they won. As we said earlier, they won the clutch moments of the series,
that's
didn't they?
right.
As Moeen is in and ball's worked into the onside. A good diving grab by mid-wicket means that they don't get a run.
Where does that term come from? The clutch moment.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because you can have a clutch putt in golf, don't you? I've heard that a couple of times
Yes.
by the old pros.
Moeen again is just worked
it's
so
easy.
easily up to mid-on. The scoring runs at the moment is This is the old shelling peas business, isn't it? One more to Rahul, 117 for he. At the end of the over, it means he'll keep strike. 182 for 5, India. There have been no alarms for them in the 10 minutes since lunch.
Nope.
The two spinners. Explain to me something, Tuffers.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we go down and we explore the pitch, and then we try to read the runes, and we get down close and, you know, sort of sniffing the terroir and trying to...
terroir?
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, we're almost like boars looking for truffles.
Yes.
Trying to read the runes and have some idea of what's going on. And
Yeah.
I've been informed by many an expert over these 4 days, this pitch is going to break up, it's going to be a nightmare for the batsman. But if it has, England spinners are not exploiting it particularly well. As Rashid is into Rahul, full, driven, out to Broad on the cover boundary for a single, 183 for 5, 118 to Rahul.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the pitch is going to break up, it's just that the rough is lovely rough.
It's lovely rough,
It's
is it?
lovely rough.
But
it's
is
a
it in
really
the
good
right
bit
place?
of old rough. And it's virtually in the right place. There's the odd one that's always going to keep your interest, and it kicks here at the Oval.
Right.
Sometimes it just goes poof and just sort of like dies in it, but this is sort of like really good kicky stuff and sort of almost gathers pace out of it.
Could work for the leg spinner to the left-hander who drives up to mid-off. There's punt, there's no run. So I can see these lovely
has an
dark lodges, and that's what Rashid's going to be aiming for to the left-hander.
If anything, it hasn't quite cut up as much as I thought it would do, but the good stuff is there is quality.
Right. Good. Rashid in again. Oh,
Like
that's spun sharply. But well played by Punt, who just managed to turn his wrists on the ball and glance it through deep backward square leg, and Broad's got to move to his right to field. The man with the broken rib is out the boundary, moving from side to side, hurling himself at the ball. 184 for 5. Punt moves to 19.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, the Aegeus Bowl sort of broke up
Yeah.
a little bit nicer than here.
That was very... I mean, when you saw great puffs of terroir.
Yeah.
As Rashid is in again, and this has been driven in the air, down over the top for one bounce ball, lands a yard or so in front of the sponge at long off. Aggressive shot. He likes hitting down the ground, does Punt. He does it with great effect. Effect.
Why not make a little name for yourself? You know, they're going to be looking.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, he's got quite a little name to start with. Sorry.
Correct.
It's not Venkatravagan, is it? As Rashid is in to Punt, who comes forward and defends back up the wicket. No run.
Yeah. I mean, he'll be wanting to just leave a message sort of here and also in the selectors' minds, you know, because they'll be looking at that bias tally and thinking, oh, crikey. But that wasn't necessarily some of his fault. But if he gets a nice 50 or 60 here...
Rashid's into him short, and that's pulled out through deep mid-wicket, and there goes Broad again, flying to his right this time.
Out.
Two more.
Out.
Two more to the total. And that completes not particularly impressive over from Adil Rashid, truth be told.
No.
190 for 5, Punt 19, Rahul 124. Don't know how much longer Root's going to want to persist with this line of attack, because in the 14 minutes since lunch, runs have come very comfortably, and it's all looked very easy indeed. Andrew Sampson.
Pant's actually 26, which is his highest score, beating the 24 that he made in the first innings.
Is this the third game he's played in this series?
This is the third game he's played.
Third game. Right, but he sort of feels like he's done more than that, but he hasn't, clearly.
Well, no, but I mean, he's got this reputation of being, you know, a positive player down the order, which England have a lot of, and that's what I think India are looking for. The likes of Jadeja, Punt.
Yeah.
You know, these kind of guys.
Moeen into Rahul, and that just is pushed just in front of Cook at short leg. There is... hang on, that's not Cook. That doesn't look like Cook at short leg. It was Jennings. Where's Cook gone? Oh, Cook's at mid-off now.
Yeah, he's having a rest.
Fair enough, I'd say.
Yeah, me
Fair
too.
enough.
Yeah.
You've earned it.
Yeah.
As Moeen is in again. And Rahul gets one that spins back into him, but he just waits for it and pushes off the back foot into space, and now Cook's got to move to his left of field. And they get one more, 191 for 5. You know, 182 for 5, sorry, 119 to Rahul.
The odd spinning delivery really shouldn't worry the Indian batsmen too much. They've been brought up on it. So they're ticking it over nicely now, just, not enabling the spinners to have 3 or 4, maybe 5 balls at them.
It's not the quickest of pitches either,
Not
is
the
it?
quickest of pitches, but I mean, there's just one in there. You feel,
Yeah.
you feel there's one in there that's just going to do something, or kick, or keep a bit low.
2 slips in to the left-hander, and Moeen Ali in. And it's short, cut, but into the ground, and Jennings fields at point. He's now moved away from short leg to he's as pointy as you can get. He's directly square of the wicket. He's standing with his right foot where the stumps would be on another pitch, and his left foot where the crease would be. You can't get squarer than that. Moeen into punt, who comes forward in defence and pushes up to root at short extra cover. There's no run. The lights are still on here, but the light itself has got a little bit better, I would say. I may be imagining that, but I think it has got a little bit better. There was the possibility of a soupçon of a whiff of rain this afternoon. As Moeen is in again, and that's defended again on the front foot to root. Good full ball, but perhaps too full, not quite getting the chance to turn.
I'd rather one in his face, so he just can't rock onto that front foot.
Silly point, you mean, or silly mid-off.
And then that might bring the bat out, and that's how you'll get the edge.
Moeen into him again, lets this go by outside the off stump. Taken by Bairstow, end of another over of relative innocuousness. Innocuity, 192 for 5. Punt, 26. Rahul, 119. These two have put on 71.
Effortlessly.
Yeah, well, it's just happened out of nowhere, isn't it?
Hold on a minute, we can't get an Indian win here, can we? 272.
It's not impossible, but it'll be one of the great Test victories of all time.
Ever.
Yeah.
58 overs left, 272, 4.5.
4.5. Yeah, the run rate's not the problem. And in fact, yes, but so far they're ticking over very nicely. Have you run since lunch, Andrew? In how many overs?
A lot, and not many.
That's why you're
So I'm a
statistician.
statistician.
A lot and not many. Yeah, 25 and 5. So they're up with the rate.
Yeah.
25 and 5, and there's really only been one super aggressive
Yeah.
shot, hasn't there? The one from punt in the last over.
Yeah, England mustn't just get in this, something will happen mode. You've still got to work. You've still got to put it in the right areas.
Rashid starts a new over, and Rahul props forward and pushes the ball out to the left of Moeen Ali in the covers. They get through for an easy single. It'll bring punt back onto strike.
Yeah.
And Rashid has the opportunity now to bowl into those footmarks outside the left-handers off stump again. 193 for 5.
Yeah, you've got to keep your brain on it, and I'm afraid England spinners have come out after lunch and just not found length.
It's been a bit rolly, isn't it?
Yeah, and a bit short, and then they're too full. They're groping for a length instead of just coming up and finding that sort of instant length where you don't know whether to go forward or back. It's all been a bit flat and a bit rolly, and a bit.
The lack of intensity.
Not very
isn't
good,
it?
really.
It's not very good. Over the wicket,
Yeah,
interestingly, Rashid. And he
Better,
balls one on
better.
off stump, which
6 of them.
has a little bit more to it. Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
Good
Into
areas.
the onside, picked up at short leg, no run.
Good areas, and I like the man in short leg to punt.
And a sort of leg slip, as well as a slip, is Rashid into punt again. Oh, and that gets the outside edge of the bat this time. And it's think of the single, but Stokes prevents them and then does a wonderful playful pirouette, throws the ball back towards Rashid. Rahul decides to catch it for him, drops it. The whole went a bit village in the last 10 or 15 seconds, and there's a lack of intensity in today's
there
cricket,
is.
and that needs to stop.
Yeah.
Rashid's in again, and that's a better delivery.
Yeah.
And that's come back from wide of the off stump. He's bowling over the wicket, and he's got that ball to fizz back.
Length. It's all about length.
That's a lot more. That's just missed the outside edge
Yeah.
into the gloves of Bairstow. Nice line as well. And this one's a bit too short.
Yeah.
It's worked up to long on, which will irritate Rashid because it'll take punt off strike. He moves to 27. It brings Rahul back onto strike with one ball left in the 51st over. Are England already bowling for the new ball? I would hope not. 29 overs away. Could be in for a long afternoon session if that's the case. Might see a bit of Alastair Cook, you never know.
Oh.
Rashid into Rahul, who comes forward in defence, pushes it the offside, and very quickly onto that was Pant. Realised there was a single, took it. Moeen Ali tidies up, end of the over, 195 for 5. Rahul 121, Pant 27. More thought. Inject some life, Tuffers.
Well, yes.
Inject some life, and then
Yes.
it's going to be Simon Mann.
Well, I think the fellow who might inject some life might have to be James Anderson, looking for his for his record-breaking wicket. It's all just a bit pedestrian at the moment and going through the motions. That's where the old Joe Root needs to whip them up a bit, get some good solid balls, build some pressure, because they've just been knocking it around here at the moment. So, afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tubbers.
Hello.
5 wickets to win for England.
It's all a bit cruisy at the moment.
Yeah, well, when you've got a lot of runs in the bank, there's not necessarily that intense. Every run doesn't matter as much. Moeen bowls, and it's pushed away by Rahul into the offside towards cover, and there's no run. But what they have done, they have battled India. They didn't last time they were here at the Oval. I was saying before lunch how they bowled out in under 30 overs in their second. They just didn't really look interested. I think there was probably a bit more nip in the pitch in that Test match 4 years ago.
Yeah. Need a few, perhaps get a bit of Stokes and a bit of Anderson steaming in, you know. Get the crowd going again, bowl some dots, goal some maidens.
Moeen round the wicket, and that's thick-edged, past second slip towards short third man. Rashid is quick to his right, good piece of fielding. Crowd are awake.
Yeah.
Applause for Rashid's movement to his right and whipping the ball in. 196 for 5. And Moeen moves into bowl, and Pant takes that from outside the off stump and whips it into the onside towards forward square leg, and Curran comes in and they're through for a single. I mean, the other aspect to it, tough is it? I mean, it is because it's 3-1. The series is not on.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. I would like just a little field placing change. I'd like the short leg to go over to the offside. Oh, he's brought him up now because he was just getting inside the line and back padding it off to the offside. I know Michael's gesturing here about field placings.
Moeen bowls, turned away by Rahul, past short leg, past Jennings. And it goes to Rashid, and they walk through for a single.
It's just turning over the strike easy, and you need to get a bit of bit of intensity back into the game. As you say, it's drifting a bit. Up to the captain here now. Make a bowling change to get something moving.
198 for 5. Pant is on 28 and he's on strike, and Moeen goes round the wicket to bowl to him, and he leans forward and it goes to Root at short extra cover, and there is no run. Still overcast, light still on, breezy day, but warm enough. And England looking to wrap things up, but being made to work hard. Moeen to Pant, fires her outside the off stump, keeps a bit low, not an easy one for Bairstow to take. Pant ignores it, and these India players here, Rahul and Pant, and presumably Jadeja to come. Jadeja slighted by being left out so far. He's got plenty to prove, and a lot to fight for on this final day.
I think he made a point, didn't he? Yeah. This is where, as a fielding side, you sometimes have a little key word that you say, well, you have a bit of a crazy hour, let's have a crazy 5 minutes, you know, throwing balls at everyone. You know what I mean? When the ball goes to the keeper, he chucks it as hard as he can to, you know, backward point, slings it as hard as he can to deep extra or something, and you just get a little bit crazy just to get the old blood going again, because you're right, it's gone flat.
What was your word?
I don't think I can say it. Yeah. Yes. 4-letter word. Let's work, fellas.
Now, Rashid's going to continue. It's Rahul on 123 out of 198. We'll keep an eye on that. The percentage of runs scored by one batsman in the innings. But Pant is making it a bit harder for Rahul to break the record. Yeah. Rashid from the Vauxhall end bowls, and Rahul comes forward and pushes it back up the pitch.
It's easy Rahul, isn't it? Just spotting length very, very quickly, isn't he?
He's batted beautifully. 118 ball 100.
I know. I was just saying to Dan.
Rashid bowls him, guided away through cover for another single.
Feel a little bit sort of cheated in a way, you know. We didn't just see that little bit, not too much, especially for the England players, but just that little bit more of this. He's just knocked up 123, hasn't got out. Well, he had a bit of a dart to get to his 100, didn't he, Pat? But he's just ticked it over.
161 runs in the match. Rahul averaging 14 coming into the game. Pant on strike, Rashid bowls to him, That's outside the off stump and swatted away off the back foot. Square with the wicket towards the boundary. That's gone for 4. And it brings up India's 200.
Short and wide.
203 for 5.
It's also a bit of good news for Rishabh Pant. There've been a few people getting excited about the possibility that he'll end his first series with more byes than runs. He's now up to 80 runs, passing his 76 byes.
Wicked. That's wicked.
It's a lot of byes, isn't it? 76. Rashid bowls to Pant, who's forward, playing it back down the pitch. I mean, it's not as if he's played all the series either.
3 games, isn't it? 2 games.
No, he's played 3.
3, yeah.
106 byes India conceded in the series was the most they've ever have.
Yeah. I have to defend him a tad.
Rashid tosses this right up, driven by Pant towards mid-off, and there's no run.
Some of him, Inspector Gadget couldn't have got. They were that wide. I mean, I'd probably say half, actually.
Yeah.
Half were just, it doesn't matter what wicketkeeper you were, you're just not getting them.
As the ball has swung so much after it's gone past the stumps.
Exactly.
Rashid bowls, Pant plays that with the bottom hand on the drive, past Rashid's dive, away to his left, and it goes up towards long on. And they are through for a single, 204 for 5.
There you go, you just saw James Anderson sprinting in from, it was an easy one, but he's come sprinting in his deep long on and hurled it back to the keeper. That's what you've got to get going again here. Might be, I think it's time for your ace in your pack to have a go, I think.
How many overs left in the day? Let's have a look.
55.
Right, so still bags of overs. England overrate, not that good before lunch. So it's not even with the spinners on. It's not as though they're hustling through.
Bit of Ben Stokes is warming up.
The new ball
is a long way off.
27 overs away.
We can't fall back on there.
There's Michael's in the back of the box or side of the box talking about the possibility of bad light. It's fine at the moment, but the lights have been on for most, if not all, the day. There's some brightness away to the right-hand side where the weather's coming from. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. There's a strong breeze bringing the clouds in. Moeen into bowl to Pant, who gets a full ball, which he drills away on the offside for extra cover for 4. Broads on the cover boundary, absolutely no chance. 208 for 5. And Pant
hands in pockets,
37.
hands on hips, arms folded. It's just like, come on, why aren't we getting them out? Something will happen in a minute. It's not. Come on, you've got to raise it.
I mean, probably something will happen.
Yeah.
But it's just...
Exactly, but
I suppose it's a question of when.
Yeah.
Moeen to bowl to Pant, he stretches forward and plays that towards Jennings, who's fielding at point, and there's no run. I mean, a bit of a come down after yesterday. The euphoria, the excitement, the drama, the weather as well of yesterday, and the crowd, big crowd, atmosphere.
I was exhausted.
Moeen bowls and Pant digs out a straight ball. Goes to Jennings, square over the wicket on the offside, and there is no run. 256 more required for victory. So although they played a few shots, I mean that's impossible.
Get it down to under 200 might be interesting.
Moeen bowls, forced away by Pant towards deep cover, and there's one more to the total. Oh, that's why people saying, "Oh, declare with a lead of 380. Oh, we got enough." That's why the captains always go on and try to get the extra 80 or 100. You want that insurance.
There's always that wobble time. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you get a couple of wickets and you win by 210.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But when it's you making the decision as the captain, you're entirely responsible for it. As we said yesterday, Root declared against West Indies and felt he was being positive and thought they had enough runs, and West Indies knocked them off.
Yeah. If you do it for the right reasons, though, we usually let you get away with it. Or the press box.
Rahul, the right-hander, is facing Moeen. He's bowling right arm round the wicket now. Change of angle of attack. Bowls to Rahul, who's easily forward, guiding it to Curran at cover. And there's no run. Moen's in his 17th over, 1 for 64. 209 for 5. Moen bowls to Raoul. He's down the pitch and he swats him over mid-off for 4. Skimmer. 2 bounces out towards the dressing rooms. The hole to 128 and the score to 213 for 5. And the crowd are enjoying India's resistance today, because if you bought a ticket, it means more cricket. I'm very happy to see this battle going on out there. Now, you're right, Tuffers. Oh, you should be the skipper or whatever. You should have been a skipper. Rashid's off.
Yes, I think so.
Stokes is on.
Yeah, come on. Hustle and bustle. Get some pace. Few bouncers. Get it swinging again. Get the slips clapping behind you. Get some pressure back onto the batsman.
So Ben Stokes, we saw him bowling some short balls before lunch. He's taken the one of 2 wickets to have fallen today. Vihari caught behind by Bairstow. And Rahane, the other man out, caught Jennings, bowled Moeen Ali for 37. James Anderson bowled, how many overs? 4 overs at the start of the day. We've not seen him since with ball in hand. So rather than going to Anderson, he's gone to Stokes, Joe Root. Stokes is one of those bowls you feel can just upset the batsman, make them play a shot they don't mean to, do something different. And then perhaps, I don't know, if Stokes were to make a breakthrough or 2, get Anderson on to try to finish it off against the tail. 213 for 5. Stokes round the wicket, bowls to Pant. Pant plays defensively towards mid-wicket. It's picked up by Moeen Ali and there's no run. Now you can hear the chatter out there. Perhaps England have decided to get something going, as Tuffers was talking about. There's Alastair Cook. You can hear that first slip. Michael Vaughan's here.
Good afternoon.
His voice carrying across the oval into our effects microphone. Come on, Stokesy. And here he is. Bowls outside the off stump and Pant hits it for 4 through backward point. It was in the air. It was wristy. It was a little bit sketchy. Well, it wasn't that badly struck. And it's gone to the 3rd man boundary. England have a fielder out there and he's gone to where that shot was struck. He was feeling squarer. 4 more, 217 for 5, Pant to 42.
Well, another hour of this, and that scoreboard will be ticking. Playing the strokes, they'll get a chance, England.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? If they go on like this, there will be a chance somewhere. Stokes bowls and Pant covers up and plays down into the gully and there's no run.
Simon, it was just the last half an hour with the spinners on. It's just a little bit of a reminder. In a couple of months' time in Sri Lanka, that is what you will be seeing a lot of. Well, you get players that can play spin nicely, which the Sri Lankans will be able to do so. It's going to be a different ball game in terms of getting wickets, as we've seen this series, apart from obviously the GS bowl with Moen's 9 for. It's been all about the seam.
Stokes bowls and Pant plays up very nicely, firmly into the offside, but straight to cover, and there's no run. Remember, England haven't won a test match away from home 13 games, which is it a record or does it equal the record, Andrew? I can't remember. We've got to Christchurch and I remember it being 13, but I can't remember whether that was the equaling the record or were they broken it?
Broke the record.
They broke the record. So that's something for England to put right this winter. If they go 6 matches without winning away from home this winter, then, well... Here is Stokes bowling. Just turned away in the air, past Moeen Ali, down to the boundary for 4 more. Again, it was in the air from Pant. He wanted to take a chance, but it was away from Moeen, away to his left-hand side. Pant goes to 46, 221 for 5, and that is the 100 partnership.
It's been quality batting, full of flamboyant stroke play. You just look at Joe Root himself. I mean, with 6 bowling options, and Rashid really is a 6th option in this game. You never really get the chance to bowl yourself. He's just a handy bowler. Very rarely goes a spell without something. Whether he gets hit or gets a wicket, generally things happen.
This is Stokes bowling to Pant outside the off stump. Keeps a bit low. Pant offers the pad, lets it go through. 221 for 5.
100 partnership, 109 balls with 13 4s and 2 6s.
Wow. If they double it up in that length of time.
The skipper is coming on.
Yeah, he is. If they double it up in that length of time, then, well, I don't know. Another 100 partnership in what was it, 109 balls?
Well, if they do, it's game on. I mean, history.
When you play like this, though, and over such a long period, there's always going to be a chance or a mistake somewhere. So Root is going to bowl. It's only Cook, really. He doesn't bowl in this England side. Well, I suppose, and Butler as well.
I think it's a good move. Really good move. The bowl's obviously same spin as Moeen in terms of the way that the ball generally goes, but it's a different kind of off spin. He'll get wider of the crease of it. Slinger, probably not as much bounce. The left-handed pant will certainly have to play at most balls because of the angle of which Joe Root bowls the ball from. So I like this move.
19 test wickets, Joe Root. 221 for 5. And he's bowling to Rahul, who's on 128.
Well, I think Rahul will take him on. I mean, mid-on is up, that's good. Look at how close mid-off is.
Yeah.
Very close.
3 close catches. Root round the wicket. Bowls a horrible delivery first time. It's actually stopped by Stokes at leg slip away to his right-hand side. It beat Bairstow.
That was filthy, wasn't it?
So wide. It's good fielding from Stokes. That would have been 4 byes. Root round the wicket then, bowls, and Rahul just allows that to strike him on the thigh pad. It balloons down to Rashid, who comes in from fine leg, short fine leg. No run, no stroke. Root tries again. Past the umpire up to the stumps, bowls to Rahul, who comes forward, drops it onto the pitch, and there's no run.
What's interesting is Joe Root's a part-time off spinner. Going round the wicket, backward points in on the one, mid-offs in on the one, mid-ons in up. For Moeen Ali, the main off spin, the field was spread.
Root again to Rahul, who tries a little sweep, strikes him on the pad, goes to short leg along the ground, picked up by Jennings.
3 catches round the bat. So the part-time off spinner is attacking more than...
So is that a Root thing or a Moeen Ali thing? I mean,
I think it's Moeen Ali. He just likes kind of this comfort blanket that fielders are out on the boundary and not too many people fielders around the bat. Joe Root's going, I don't really care, I'm a part-timer, I'm just going to attack and eat wickets.
Past the umpire he goes, into bowl to Rahul, who comes forward, guides that gently on the bounce to Jennings, short leg. Root again, really slings that down, a round arm delivery to Rahul. Who's in behind that, no trouble at all, played away on the onside. It's a maiden over, and you can hear the crowd applaud, but no real threat there from Root. 221 for 5 at the end of the over. England still needing those 5 wickets, and still no Anderson since the first half an hour this morning, Michael.
Yeah, bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Didn't quite get it right, Jimmy, in the first few overs. Didn't quite bowl it full enough, but you would think that Jimmy would be into the skipper's ear saying, come on, any danger?
Where is Anderson fielding?
Slip. Fifth slip.
So he is. Hands on his knees at the moment. Stokes goes in and bowls to Pant. He wafts that away down the leg side, down to fine leg. A full swing of the bat from Pant. He does give you a chance as a bowler. You can see how he's going to cause some problems for bowlers, or already has. Dangerous player, 47 not out to him. 222 for 5.
Yeah, you're looking at a player in Rishbhat Pant that I can see him on Indian wickets when the ball's not bouncing as much, not swinging, but he's going to cause a bit of chaos.
Yeah, definitely.
You can see him getting some quick runs, probably quick hundreds. He's going to be popular in India. The fans like that style of play. Since the IPLs, that's what they've been used to, haven't they? All the Indian supporters, they love the ball travelling to the boundary.
Stokes bowls to Rahul on leg stump, turned away off his hip by Rahul. Down to Curran, who jogs in, and they are through for a single.
This series has been it's been great for Test cricket because generally over the last few years, once the teams got on top or he's dominating, particularly in the second. It's been Calypso collapsos. Whereas, again, this part, it's come from nowhere. And when Rahane was out, I think we all sat back and thought, oh, there'll be a few quick wickets that'll be done and dusted just after lunch. Well, surprise, it's been the story of the series.
Stokes ball's very full down the leg side. There's some interest from behind. Bairstow took it tumbling away to his right. When it didn't carry over, there was nothing off the bat, I'm not sure. There was definitely a noise as the ball went past the bat. It might not have been ball hitting bat. 223 for 5. Well, also, Michael, yeah, I mean, yesterday, remember, India were 2 for 3. So they've 221 runs for the last 2 wickets.
Yeah, there's so many different scenarios of the series where the team has come out and just surprised us.
Stokes bowls, Pant defends, goes to Broad at mid-off.
Well, that Stuart Broad, you just mentioned him, Broad and Butler's partnership in the first inning. That came, I don't think any of us were expecting Stuart to play as well as he did, because he's not been in that kind of form. 86 for 6, England at Edgbaston. Sam Curran got England to a decent score. Same at the Aegeus Bowl.
Stokes bowls, Yorker length, dug out by Pant, well played. It's a sort of ball that might have got a new batsman out, but Pant dug it out into the onside. The championship, Somerset have been bowled out for 116. That leaves Hampshire 74 to win. Surrey have bowled Worcestershire out for 336. So it all looks set for Surrey to wrap up the title this week. Commentary from the championship at the end of this game. Stokes bowls to Pant outside the off stump. There's no stroke. Or tomorrow on 5 Live Sports Extra. You can listen to commentary today online on the website and app. The way things are going, it's going to be Worcestershire against Surrey tomorrow, because India have continued to resist. 223 for 5. Pant has 47. Rahul has 129. Still Jadeja to come. And the bowlers as well. We've had 40 minutes play since lunch. Michael Vaughan and then Jonathan Agnew.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of time before Rahul decides to dance down to Joe Root. He likes using his feet and striking it down the ground. And it's certainly available for him. Good afternoon, Agus.
Hey, hello, Mike. I'm really glad we've seen some of the best of Rahul. He's played beautifully today. It was a poor series, but he's just shown us what he's got. 129 not out. Played really well. And where's James Anderson? 4 overs all day.
Get your tannoy and have a...
Oh, he's there. He's at mid-wicket. I don't mean literally where is he, but why is he not been bowling very much? In comes Root, round the wicket, bowls, and he's dancing down the pitch, and then just drives it to Broad at mid-on. He's got a broken rib, of course, Broad. He hasn't bowled very much either. Not surprised with that. Maybe they're storing them up for the tail enders.
I don't want to store him up too much, because if this pair about another hour and score at the same rate, I mean, they can't get the runs, can they? I mean, that's surely not going to happen.
I wouldn't have thought so, but Pat, as we know, is potentially very destructive. 224 for 5. Root bowls. Temple Fields here, pushing outside the off stump. Bairstow's waiting. He's got his helmet on. 2 slips there as well. Man on the drive.
The pigeons are back, Agus.
They are. They've gone to watch the cricket, which is very interesting at the moment. Root round the wicket, moves in, bowls that very low arm. Again, that turns very sharply. Bairstow can't catch it cleanly this time. He really slung that one down. 224 for 5. So 5 wickets for England to take. 240 more runs for India to score. Root again from round the wicket. Bowls and hammered hard back at him. Oh, heard that crack of the ball hitting Root's hand from here. Really did. Slammed into his right hand. Good piece of fielding. Every now and then Pant just unleashes one, doesn't he? Root again, round the wicket, bowls to him. That one he lets go by outside the off stump. He's got a confident fellow, I think, is our friend Pant. 224 for 5. 47 not out. Root polishes the ball hard. This is the 58th over with it. Here he comes now. Bowls. Oh, that's goes straight on the ground. Bairstow can't stop it. It nutmegged him. And the ball bounces into the boundary edging. But that it literally shot along the ground, kept horribly low and went straight through Bairstow's legs. 228 for 5. So hit the rough. It's doing bits out there.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying about Joe Root's a different style of off-spinner to Moeen because he slings them. He doesn't get as much bounce, and Johnny Bairstow can vouch for that. He just hardly got up off the floor.
228 for 5. England still after these 5 wickets. It's going to a stage where they're not going to be able to bowl Anderson a bit because there's a new ball on the horizon. It's 22 overs away at the moment. You'd think he'd be bowling now with the new ball in mind. Get a spell in. 5 overs, have a rest for 6 from this end, as it were. So Stokes for now, though. He took a wicket earlier. And he's bowling to Rahul, and Rahul, the right-hander, is forward, stylish player. And Moeen fields at cover.
Unless Jimmy's just gone to the skim and said, look, I'm happy, I'll just break the record in goal.
He could be saying that.
I'm happy.
I think the skipper might say, actually, you're sort of running in here and win us the game, thank you. He's at mid-wicket at the moment. And, no, he's not. He's at gully, in fact. And in goes Stokes. Bowls, and that's a thickish edge. You can hear that slightly thin sound. It almost flies away out to square third man. Jennings throws it back. He took a catch earlier. Very straightforward one. 229 for 5. A very grey day here. There's a lot of rain around, obviously affecting the championship cricket, but very low cloud. But, happily, no rain has fallen. Now Pant waits for Stokes, who's coming round the wicket. In he goes. He's there, and he bowls wide of the off stump. Poor shot from Pant. He literally just dangled the bat at that. It was pretty wide. He was very lucky not to edge it. But, looking for the man out there at deep backward point, I think. Now, what's Mr. Wilson up to? He's spotted something there on the pitch, and he's rather strangely, he just sort of rubbed it away with the sole of his foot. The player wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not quite sure what it was. 229 for 5. Stokes, the ball in his right hand, runs in smoothly, bowls to the left-handed Pant, and this time allows the ball to go through to Johnny Bairstow. And there's no run. So Anderson's bowled 4 overs today. Broad bowled 5. Moeen's had a good spell. Curran bowled 5. Last one was quite expensive, a couple of boundaries in it. Stokes again. Past umpire Wilson. Bowls wide of the off stump. Now he's got that one away. Nice stroke again, hitting it firmly behind square on the offside. And 1 run, 230 for 5. So if Pant were to get going, you can imagine him playing a lot of shots, actually. I mean, he's stocky, strong, a good eye. He likes hitting 6s.
Have you seen him in the IPL?
Oh, yes.
Oh, he gives it a good whack.
I was thinking of if they got going in here, if they suddenly did get that runs required down to something, well, at least that you could go at. There's Stokes, bowls, and it's played nicely off the front foot. I mean, they might as well go for it, mightn't they? They're not going to achieve anything by not. But they're working themselves steadily into a position where, I mean, it's very unlikely, and of course Root can put men back all over the place and so on, but at least from a position to have a go at what's set off looking like an impossible target.
Well, the graphics on the TV always are a little bit of a giveaway. That it reads 230 for 5. England need 5 wickets to win. They're not even mentioning the runs required for India
that changes
to win at this stage.
Yeah. It might change later. Well, at least they'll put both up there. But at the moment, certainly, England favourite to win the game.
I think he'll dance down this over, August. I think he's going to try and hit one.
Long off or long on?
He likes to go kind of offside of the ball and hit over long on.
Let's see. It's Root. Coming round the wicket. Bairstow crouching there and takes that one as Pant plays no stroke. Good bowling. They're quite flat, firing it in with his low arm.
It's like flat Jack Simmons.
Yeah, it is. Root again, bowls, and that turned, spinning away from Pant, but he's played that off the front foot to point. 230 for 5. Punt on 48. Now, oh, that spins. That spins as he pushes forward at that. And again, a surprise Bairstow too. It clattered out of his gloves, but low arm, the trajectory coming into the left-hander and then spinning away as sharply as that. There was no chance of getting a bat on it. All very disconcerting. If you're trying to face this, Root again moves in, bowls a very quick one, but he's flicked that away into the leg side. He wants 2 for his half century, but that'll only be 1. As Curran throws the ball back tidily. 231 for 5. Punt to 49 from 76 balls. Roll 131 from 160 balls. Which really good scoring rate given the situation of the game and the disastrous start to India's innings last night. And they were 2 for 3. But, it's played a lovely innings here. 131, looking around the field. There's 3 men around the bat, plus Bairstow, a man on the drive there at mid-wicket as well, as Root bowls. That's simply patted away back at him. A bit full, that was almost a half volley length. Anderson there, clapping his hands, he heard him. But not involved much today, as yet anyway. 231 for 5. Root round the wicket, bowls, and Rahul simply lets that hit him up on the thigh pad. It's pitched outside the leg stump. And it's 231 for 5, so England still need these 5 wickets to win. There's a loud siren wheeling its way down the Harleford Road. Again, with a smallish crowd, you hear these sounds much more clearly. But, they're sitting back quietly, waiting for England to take a wicket. See if they can wrap it up here today. See if James Anderson will take the wicket that takes him past Glenn McGrath. We're still waiting for that. And on the telly, they're showing pretty pictures. It's just drifting a little bit. England need to lift it, get amongst these wickets. In goes Stokes, round the wicket, bowls to punt down the leg side. Bairstow gathers it. Now Cook gets to work on the ball, rubbing hard on his trousers. 2 pigeons come for a closer inspection. Actually, to be honest, one looks rather more interested in the other one than the cricket. Looking very interested. Stokes. Oh, pigeons everywhere now. They flew straight across the pitch. So Stokes gave up. Low level pass that was.
Yeah, they've gone to the other practice wickets, haven't they, on the other side?
Yeah. And these two.
There's another couple coming here.
Well, that's the same amorous couple, I think. They've taken up position at mid wicket.
Might get a catch.
In goes Stokes. Bowls. Pant crashes that away. That'll be his half century. Well played. Down to Curran it goes. Well, he's only 20. A lot of promise. He's got work to do with his keeping. But there you go. Well done him. His first half century. He made his Test debut earlier in the series at Trent Bridge. And he's a pugnacious little fella. There's no doubt about that.
Well, he's the kind of cricketer that if he does find confidence, I think he's going to be well worth watching.
Oh, definitely. I would say he's short of confidence already.
No, he's been born with a bit of a swagger, hasn't he?
He certainly has. They've moved over to the other side now, our amorous pair. In goes Stokes. Over the wicket. Bowls, Rahul's forward. And playing out to Moeen at cover. So, Pant's first 50.
87 minutes, 78 balls, 7 balls and 1 6.
Certainly entertaining. 232 for 5. That one pigeon simply won't take no for an answer. He's not giving up though. Goes Stokes. Bowls, and Rahul clips that away. About waist high it was, with a horizontal bat. Down to Curran, who throws the ball back again. 1 more to India. 233 for 5. England still after these 5 wickets. So they lost 2 in quick succession today. With Rahani out for 37. Nice innings that actually. He was caught by Jennings at mid-wicket off Moeen, and then Stokes had Fahari caught behind for a duck, and now Pant stands up and pushes that into the offside. Get at least 1. In fact, they're going to come back for 2. If that had been Jadeja, that would have been 1. He'd have been after that so quickly and swooped round and picked up, actually attacking the batsman, as it were.
He's your favourite, isn't he?
I think he's a wonderful, wonderful cricketer. And just enough niggle there, I think, to wind you up if you're playing against him.
He's coming in next. He's how many overs left? 48? He'll come out swinging.
I think you're right. 2:35 for 5. Pant on strike. In goes Stokes. Round the wicket. Bowls a bouncer at him. Catch it, they shout. It bounces just in front of long leg. The cry went up. Catch it. It's the one you dread at long leg. Hear the cry. And you've got to decide whether to come in or hang back or where's it going to go. It's also quite difficult to judge the range of the catch down there, and third man even more so. But Jennings did the right thing there. It was never going to carry to him. So 1 more. Pant keeps the strike. 53 not out from 80 balls. Conference is going on. Conference there between Broad and Bairstow. And now Root and Stokes. Broad likes a conference. He's always sort of hanging around on the fringe of a conference, offering some sort of input there. James Anderson is loitering about 3 or 4 yards away.
Well, surely Jimmy just strolls into the conversation and says, just give me a ball.
Yes, I might quite like the ball, but there was a long conversation there. I'm not sure what it was about, but predominantly involving Broad, Root and Stokes, who again is involved more in discussions than the actual vice-captain, Butler. 2:36 for 5. Risbah Pant. Well played him. 53 not out. He's on strike now with 2 slips. And Root to bowl to him. Round the wicket he comes. Sharp turn again, collected by Bairstow. It's frustrating when you're bowling it and it's doing it. It's enough to get wickets. Here's Root again, floating it up. That's driven. Catch it again, they shout. And he's been lucky there. The ball just lobbed over the point fieldsman, who was in quite close. And Rashid goes to throw the ball back again, but that was an uncontrolled shot. He'd give it much more air.
Yeah, and I think that's advisable.
Yeah,
because you know that he's going to take it on. So I say he's always trying to hit it across the spin to mid-on.
Yeah, he was lucky there. Oh, away they go, look. Our courting couple. Landing over at on the other side of the ground. 2:38 for 5. Pant checks his guard, or retakes it. Maybe he's moving his guard. Scraping away there with his boot anyway. Root's ready to go. Chewing on a piece of gum. Now Pant, I think, might have just told himself off there a bit. Root bowls to him, and he drives hard straight through Anderson for 4. Now, if that had been off Anderson's bowling, I think he'd been very happy with that. It was hit firmly, but it was hit straight at him. And he's missed it. Now, Alpadama Sina's saying, come on, wasting time here, to the batsman. So get a move on. Because Root bowls is over so quickly. India don't want any more to be bowled today. He bowls now on the off stump. Out forward, Jennings fields. At least you don't often see an umpire get involved, saying get a move on. It's good to see.
Should happen more often.
Absolutely, it should happen all the time, I think. Root again, bowls, and Pant watches that spin away into Bairstow's gloves. Root again, working on the ball. Grips it now with his right hand. Comes round the wicket, bowls to Pant, just leans forward, plays the ball out to Anderson, who picks it up. So 1 or 2 mysteries out there, particularly the James Anderson mystery. 2:42 for 5. There's 46 overs to go today, and that's an hour now into the afternoon session. So we have the ground staff running on. We're going to have a drinks break. And India at the moment, we're pretty happy with the way they've played.
Well,
Mark,
yeah,
lots of
I
thoughts from you, and Dan's coming in.
Yeah, that's right. Is it, Andrew? 43 overs gone today.
44.
44 overs, and Jimmy Anderson's bowled 4. So he's bowled under 10% of the overs today. That doesn't make sense.
Is he being saved
Has
for
he
the
got
second
a-
new ball?
Has he got a niggle?
Well, he might do, mightn't he? Well. This game is yet again another match in this series that's panning out not the way any of the pundits, experts, commentators expected it to. It's all rather jolly. 242 for 5. England need a further 5 wickets, and India still need another 222 runs. By the way, if you want to find our... this has all been about Alastair Cook, this test match, and we've got a pint-sized Cook, if you want it. Other pint-sized cooks, such as Ken Holm and Madhur Jaffrey, are available. But the pint-sized Cook, which I'm imagining is just all the best moments of Cook in this match, all rolled together into one glorious... His career, as selected by some TMS commentators, I wasn't asked. So, but I imagine his wicket will be in there. Ishant Sharma, among many other great moments. His 235 not out against Australia at Brisbane, that's sure to get a showing. 190 against India, that's got to be there. And maybe the 17 he got against Sri Lanka. I don't think that will be there. But the pint-sized Cook, check it out. That's on the cricket section of the BBC Sport website and app. If you haven't got the app by now, then I really don't know what more I've got to do to tell you to get it. You might have to buy a smartphone first, of course. But do get it. It's tremendous value. Sunil Gavaskar, a man who is a veteran of seemingly impossible run chases at the Oval for India against England back in 1979. A man who scored 200 and, remind me, how many that day?
Take a guess.
I gave 225.
Thank you. You gave me 4 more runs.
Oh, 221. Yes. Well, I tell you what's up for grabs. There's a couple of things up for grabs here. With KL Rahul on 132, 229, the lowest score never to be recorded by an individual, is available. That's only another 97 runs away. 222 more to win in 47 overs. It's so unlikely, but you have to say this partnership has been magnificent. Punt's got 59, Rahul's 132. They've not looked in any trouble. The pitch seems to have eased. England's bowling hasn't been very penetrative. There's nothing for them to lose. They look in the zone. They look in great touch. It would be one heck of a way to finish the series, wouldn't it?
Amazing. It would be absolutely amazing. It will just lift Indian cricket up considerably. I mean, they're down in the dumps right now. And if both these guys can do something remarkable, even if India don't win, but get close, maybe get even 30, 40 runs close to the target, that'll be doing something, because that means you've got more than 400 runs in the 4th innings. But both these guys are batting really well. I mean, you see them, they've got so much time to play. And yes, I do accept the fact that after the morning first hour when Anderson and Stewart Broad bowled, there really they haven't been brought in. So it's not been maybe that much of a test. So Ben Stokes bowled a very quick spell in which he got rid of Bihari.
Well, that was a beautiful ball, wasn't it? That was a lovely...
Real beauty.
So I tell you, Jeffrey waxed so lyrical about that ball. I can't tell you. He gets very excited when he sees really vicious deliveries.
The bouncers, yeah.
Yeah, he loves them. Absolutely loves them. Seems such a mild-mannered chap most of the time, doesn't he?
And he loves them when somebody else gets out.
Oh, he really does, yes.
Loves it more.
Does. For such a mild-mannered chap, it's such a surprise to see. As Stokes is in to the right-handed Rahul, 242 for 5, India, 2 slips and a gully in place, and defends a full board for the offside, no run. Before, Stokes was operating with a very curious field that was designed entirely for the short pitch delivery. He's now got a lot more conventional with the long leg, mid-wicket and mid-on, mid-off, extra cover, deep point, 2 slips and a gully. So gone is the no-slip approach and a very, very fine third man, or a deep second slip, if you like, with 3 men on the boundary on the leg side and short leg. He's in again, and Rahul plays a slightly loose shot, which he gets the inside half of the bat on, and it rolls back up to Stokes. There's no run. 242 for 5.
You know the first over after first couple of overs after the drinks interval, always dodgy for batsmen. What happens even if you're well set, what happens is, the 12th man comes in, or maybe sometime the 13th and the 14th man, they come with the drinks.
Here's Stokes once more. And Rahul lets this go by. It's quite close to the off stump on this occasion, and there is no run.
They come with the drinks, and sometimes, they say something funny, something's happened in the dressing room, which the batsmen at the crease are not aware of. They'll tell something that has happened in the dressing room, something funny, of course. And so everybody sort of laughs. And then what happens is, by the time you actually take guard, immediately after that, your mind is still not there. That intensity is just gone because you're thinking about the laugh in the dressing room. And that's why it can be dodgy for batsmen. So that shot the shot that we saw from Rahul was something like that.
Stokes says to Rahul, and he plays a angle bat into the gully region. There's no run. Somebody just sort of taped Ravindra Jadeja's bat to the ceiling or something like that, and this sort of...
you say something like that. Which will make... the whole idea is to try and ease the tension.
But it can have the opposite effect.
Exactly. It can have an opposite effect. It can release the tension so much that there is no tension.
Yes.
And you want a little bit of tension.
Well, you've got to be concentrating, haven't you? Stokes is in, and Rahul defends off the front foot into the onside. It's fielded at mid-wicket, and there's no run. England searching for a wicket, but I fancy, at the moment, it looks like they might have to wait to the second new ball. Wickets have tended to tumble after tea in this match. It's been the most fertile time for bowlers. The morning sessions have produced very few wickets and quite a lot of runs. This afternoon session has produced quite a lot of runs and absolutely no wickets. What was the score at lunch, Andrew? As Stokes is into Rahul. He plays nicely into the offside from deep in his crease. Jennings does the fielding at deep backward point, and they'll come through for a single. Rahul 133, 243 for 5.
That's 167 for 5 at lunch. So there's
76? 76 runs have been scored.
76 have been scored since lunch, and it's only 5 wickets that have fallen in the first session of the whole match so far. 10 in the second and 18 in the third.
Well, there you have it. And I wonder if Anderson watchers are going to have to wait for that second new ball. I'm not sure if Root's going to turn to Anderson before then. Well, we shall see. I mean, there's a bit of time. He could maybe try him for a few overs, a burst before tea. We've got another, 43 minutes, 53 minutes, I should say, until the tea break. So he's got could try him for 2 or 3 overs, maybe, see if the ball's going to reverse. We've seen 4 overs of him today, which is not a lot on a day when everybody was sort of teeing up. Could he break the record? He's not had a lot of opportunities to do it. 24 balls. Root is still in the attack. The skipper with a forward short leg, a leg slip, and Rahul just lets the ball cannon into his pads because Root's bowling from round the wicket. He's sort of darting it in, isn't he, Sonny? It's almost like a sort of right-armed Sanath Jayasuriya at the moment. Down the wicket comes Rahul. He works this to mid-on, who's deep. They get a single. 244 for 5, 134 to Rahul.
Well, he's kind of hoping that the odd ball will grip and turn and bounce. That's why he's really firing them in. Moeen Ali was a little bit slower, trying to get the ball, giving the ball a little bit of loop, but not Joe Root. Root just firing it in, trying to hit the rough created by the bowlers follow through. But it's a little further up, so it's not going to be all that dangerous. It might be a little bit dangerous for Rashid if he bowls from that end, because there's a fair bit of rough, but that is too far away.
Root into Punt, who leaves this alone, shoulders, arms, and maintains the pose as it goes through to Bairstow. There are 2 slips in for the left-hander, and quite a fine backward point, not quite a short third man in Rashid, and a very square point in Jennings. Short, cut, out to Moeen Ali on the cover boundary. They'll come through for a single, and no more. 245 for 5. I'm looking for Stuart Broader because I can't see his sun hat, so either he's changed into a cap or he's off the field at the moment. Can you spot him anywhere? Is he at mid-on?
Mid-on
is that deep mid-on? It's rare to see him without a sun hat on, isn't it? Root in, and down the wicket comes Rahul, and he gets to it and clatters the ball through extra cover for 4. That was quite perilous. Had he not got that, he was in danger of being stumped, but it advanced and got it right on the full and found the acreage on the offside, which is untenanted, and slapped it for 4, 249 for 5, 138 for Rahul. There'll be no panic in the England ranks yet, but there'll be increasing amounts of hope and expectation in the Indian ones.
It certainly will be. They'll be hoping that this pair will stick around, at least earn them a draw.
Here is Root in once more. It just works this to mid-wicket, does Rahul. There's no run. End of the over, 249 for 5. Punt has 60. Rahul 138. You say, earn them a draw, Sonny, but the way they're batting with some flamboyance, and the occasional boundaries are coming. They only need 4.5 and over. I know I'm sounding maniacal in suggesting that 464 is even possible, but it's actually quite a strange situation in which it might be, for the simple reason there are 2 set batsmen and there's a lot of attacking fields being set.
Yes, I think the gaps are there. The gaps is what they're exploiting at the moment with the boundaries or even with the singles. They're keeping the strike rotating. So it's a possibility, but 200 and...
I know, it's a long way away.
Long way
15,
away.
yeah.
So I would rather keep my ambitions a little bit lower and say, look, bat sensibly now as they are doing, and get a draw. Because that'll be something, because they haven't really batted that many overs in the 4th innings for a long time. It'll mean that they'll have batted for almost 108 overs. I think they batted 18 overs yesterday, at 90 overs today. If they bat, that'll be 108 overs. And the Indian team hasn't batted that long for a long time. I think 85.5 overs or 89.5 overs in Sydney in the 4th innings. That's what I remember. This was 2015. So after that they haven't. So it's an opportunity. But I like the way they have approached this game just now. Both of them quite freely playing their shots, not afraid to play the lofted shot either, but also looking solid in defence.
Punt has 60 from 88. Rahul 138 from 174 balls. I mean, that's going some, really. Here's Stokes to start a new over to the left-hander. And it's a short ball, which he just evades by ducking underneath. Goes through to the keepers. Only one slip and a gully. And there is this very fine third man who's sort of in a 4th slip line from the batsman down to the boundary in front of the Bedser stand. There's one other fielder on the offside, and there's a series of leg side fielders, a fine leg, a long leg, a deep mid-wicket, a square leg and a mid-wicket. As Stokes is in, and that's pulled, but with great control by Punt down to that long leg fielder as opposed to the fine leg fielder. Got right on top of it, gets an easy single for it, moves to 61. The 250 is up. More than a ripple of applause cascades around the oval. Do we have yet an idea of the total aggregate attendance? I think it must have got over 100,000, because there's a sellout for the first 3 days. There are 25,000 capacity. We think 19,000 came yesterday. That would take it up to 94,000. So I think this has got over 100,000 into the oval for this match, which is a very healthy aggregate for a test match in England. The stadia are nothing like as large as the ones you have in India, but...
Yes, I think even today it's a decent crowd.
It is.
Yesterday, of course, everybody came to say goodbye to Alastair Cook. And what a goodbye.
Stokes in again, and that's defended off the front foot well by Rahul, who's looked really solid. And again, there's no run. 250 for 5. Yeah, the contrast in days is quite extraordinary. Yesterday, the sun was shining and there was a sort of carnival atmosphere and every moment was being cheered. Today, we've got rather gripping situation that's developing at the Oval. People waiting, watching and waiting. Pigeons are getting in the way at the moment. 4 or 5 of them, but now they have flown off. Stokes is in. And that's again solidly defended on the front foot up to mid-off. There's no run. 250 for 5. It's always as if people are just waiting for something. They're waiting for Anderson to come on with a new ball. That's what the England fans are doing. The Indian fans are just willing these two to keep going with this partnership. It's accrued 129 for the 6th wicket, which is not shabby at all. Stokes in, and that's wide of the off stump, left alone by Rahul. Went through quite low to Bairstow, almost along the ground. There's no run. For Punt, who has 61, 100 here would do wonders for his confidence. cement him in the team, you might think. And there's a big winter coming up. What's a series of summers, of course, for India. So they play the West Indies and then Australia, who announced their squad today, and it raised quite a few eyebrows. To ask you about one of those missing selections in a minute. As Stokes is in, and that's just defended from the crease into the offside. Moeen Ali tidies up into the over. 65 have been bowled in this innings. 250 for 5. Rahul 138. Pant has 61. Glenn Maxwell been left out of the Australian squad to go to the UAE, and you'll have seen a fair bit of Glenn Maxwell from the IPL and similar. England have managed to integrate Joss Butler into their red ball team. Do you think Australia are missing a trick with Glenn Maxwell?
Well, his off-spin would have been handy in UAE. But as a batsman, I believe that he's let himself down by going the attacking route too often. You don't see that happening with Joss Butler. Look at the innings that he played during the series. Very responsible innings. And I'm not too sure that Glenn Maxwell can curb his natural instinct to go the aerial route. It's not easy on pitches where the ball is turning. So maybe that's the reason why they've decided to leave him out of the team.
Root in, and that's forward in defence. Punt into the offside. Jennings picks up at square point, and there's no run. There are a couple of players of South African origin in Australia's team. Next delivery, very round arm and fired in. Full, defended by Punt. There's no run. That was 60 miles an hour nearly, that one.
Which is really surprising because, generally the Australians don't like to do what England do.
Yes, root in, and that's worked into the onside of the back foot. There'll be a signal, and I think that's been collected by a substitute fielder. You may have heard a little ripple of applause about a minute or so ago. Alastair Cook has momentarily, we assume, gone off the field. And again, to applause as he went up the steps in the Bedser stand. And there is a replacement for him. Don't know who that is yet. And he's fielding it along mid-on, I should say. 251 for 5. No, they don't normally, do they? Although, I might argue that Matt Renshaw, for example, born in Yorkshire, they've been keen on him. But it's Michael Neser, is it? I believe has been chosen as root is in, and that's worked up to mid-on. Who's deep is Stuart Broad, and so they're able to get another easy single. Rahul to 139. 252 for 5. Who are these non-Australians in the Australian side?
Well, there's I think at least 4 of them born outside of Australia, because Usman Khawaja was born in Pakistan as well.
Well, yes.
The other one born in Klerksdorp in South Africa.
Rooted, and that's driven by Pant nicely into the offside, but Moeen Ali will come in off the boundary to field. One more to the total. 253 for 5. Pant to 63.
Is Marnus Labuschagne.
Now, this is marvellous. Labuschagne is how you're pronouncing it.
Well, I suspect he's now Marnus Labuschagne.
Labuschagne. I've heard Labuschagne quite a bit in Australia.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yes, they do like Shane. It's a syllable that's very popular in Australia.
You hear the pride in Andrew's voice as he's taking these notes.
You do. Root ball, so that's played off the front foot to short leg, no run. You do rather, don't you? Yeah. Labuschagne. It's very handy having him around for all sorts of reasons, but South African pronunciation is very important. So we've got Neser, Khawaja, Labuschagne, and one other, presumably, a fourth. And because it was always a running joke between Australians and the English, wasn't it? That
always.
How many Strauss and Pryor, and Kevin Peterson, when that team was winning the Ashes, it was always undermined by the fact that they were supposed to be South African.
Yes.
I mean, of course, Sam Curran in this team, Zimbabwe.
Yes, Zimbabwe, yes. Yeah. Born in Zimbabwe.
And Keaton Jennings, born in...
Well, Ben Stokes born in New Zealand.
Yes, I mean, that really was just an accident, surely. I mean, you couldn't wish to find a more English-sounding man, really, than Ben Stokes. There's not even the faintest twang of Kiwi in it. He's running away from us, starting a new over from the Vauxhall end with a slip and a gully in. And Pant cuts at this, square of the wicket, out at the offside. 4 runs, got right on top of the bounce and clattered it away. He moves to 67, 257 for 5. This fabulous fight back from India is continuing. Andrew.
Sam Curran was born in Northampton, actually.
Oh, was he?
But there's also another record.
There we go.
Partnership's now 136, which is the highest India have ever had for the 6th wicket in the 4th innings of a test match.
Not bad.
Sonny will remember the other one in Chennai in 1999. Tendulkar and Mongia added 135, and they just fell short in that game in the end, didn't they?
Yes, by 12 runs, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. Stokes in, short, played it to the onside, picked up by Moeen Ali coming in from square leg. There's no run.
Well, that shot from Rishabh Pant was a little bit like a Rafa Nadal shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the way he played it, it was more like that Rafa Nadal forehand. And he's also left-handed, and he's also he's not as muscular as Rafa Nadal, but he's a little well-built.
Yes.
Rishabh Pant.
In again is Stokes. That's a short ball which he evades. There's no run. I mean, and he's not the tallest fellow, as wicket-keepers often aren't. So he sort of has to get over the top of it, doesn't he? But you're right, it was like a sort of top spin.
He did it really well. Did it really well, and it went for a boundary.
You must be excited by this. I mean, towards the end of this series, India has started to unveil the future, it seems to me. Vihari getting that half century in his first innings, and then Pant here looking good. And you know, you've got Prithvi Shaw up your sleeve as Stokes is in again to the left-hander, who pulls beautifully out through deep backward square leg for 4.
Oh, what a shot.
That was a magnificent shot. Broad couldn't get to it, and he just got again right over the top of it. Stokes is looking bewildered, but it was just a tremendous shot to a short ball, and it sat up a little bit, but nonetheless played expertly. He moves into the 70s now. 71 he has, 261 for 5. The target, at the risk of being accused of madness, is a mere 203 runs away.
He got into position so quickly and smashed the ball away. Really brilliant shot this from the young man.
Here's Stokes in it once more, and that's played nicely off the back foot, down through third man. It's going to go for 4. There's nobody at back. It's a sort of backward point, really, and the third man, if he is a third man, is really a sort of deep fourth slip. So that's been beautifully guided. He's shown 3 very different shots here. He's cut one mercilessly through the offside square. He's pulled one expertly between 2 fielders, deep backward square and just forward square. And now he's guided a ball into space down the third man boundary.
Super shots, all of them. And the second innings has been so good. Reminds me of a story. I'm not too sure how real that story is, about an Indian Prime Minister.
Stokes in, defended, shorter ball, just bug out the wicket, no run, 265 for 5. Punt has 75. Did Stokes then throw the ball back in furious rage? I think he did. Punt 75, Rahul 139, 66 overs have been bowled. India require another 199 runs to win. Sonny, tell us your story, and then I shall hand over to Simon.
Well, the story was that because the Indian team had batted so well in that series in the second innings, he came and asked in the dressing room when he was introduced to the team towards the end, why don't they play the second innings first? So, well, there you are. So I think the way the Indians have been batting this innings particularly does bring that question up. Why don't they play their second innings first, in the sense, why don't they bat like this in the first innings? They've been batting superbly, both these young players. Rahul with 138 to his name, and then you've got Rishabh Pant inching towards 100. He's got, well, inching is not the right word, he's just galloping towards 100. 75 he's got. This is a wonderfully entertaining partnership, and certainly giving the crowd, it's not a big crowd by any means, but it's given the crowd plenty to cheer.
Broad's going to bowl. They don't get elected for nothing, those prime ministers, do they?
Yes. Well, I don't know whether it's a true story, but it clearly happened before my time, but got to hear about it from some of your former cricketers, and it's quite funny.
Right, Broad then into the attack. It's clear what England's tactics are here. They're trying to seduce India into thinking they can win the game and get them to play a few loose shots. I say that tongue-in-cheek, of course, but I mean, it's been a fantastic partnership. I wonder how many more runs in this fashion it would take to convince these two that there is a possibility of victory here. It seems absurd to be talking about it, but this partnership has been fantastic. 121 for 5, it's now 265 for 5, and both are attacking players, both capable of scoring very quickly. 41 overs left in the game. So they have to score at 5 and over with only 5 wickets left. Here is Rahul. Broad goes in to bowl to him. And Rahul drives and it goes away on the offside in the air. There's a shadow catch it. But it wasn't that near a fielder, but it was a rather sketchy single. It's 266 for 5 and Rahul goes to 140.
Well, the ball seemed to have stopped on him. Luckily, it didn't carry to the fielder. He got a single. But first ball of a new spell, outside the off stump, not quite a drivable ball. Took a bit of a chance, KL Rahul, with that.
Well, prepared to play the shot. I wonder how Pant is going to continue to play here. 75 not out. Is he just going to keep on going after it and seeing where it takes India? Well, they're not that far, relatively speaking, away from saving the game. If you rely on some help from your colleagues as well, the likes of Jadeja to come, and Ishant has been adhesive in the series, so too has Bumrah, can't say that for Shamu. Here is Broad bowling. That's clipped away uppishly, past mid-wicket. This is going for 4 as well. Hits the rope now. Indian flag is raised just where the ball hit the rope. It was in the air, but it was wide of Jennings. And the runs continue to flow. 270 for 5.
Fine shot that, you're right. It was up in the air. A little wide of the fielder at mid-wicket. Timed quite nicely by Rishabh Pant. They're galloping. This is a galloping partnership, this.
Well, it's thrilling batting, and it is lifted this final day. They've got a slip, and then, well, that's a 4th slip in. 3 saving on the offside, a short extra cover as well. Broad goes in round the wicket now and bowls to Pant, who's forward, playing defensively that time. Away on the offside, and there is no run. Gurdev Bra emails us, read the India team. Going okay for India at the moment, but I think it's time for some change going forward. Virat Kohli has too much to cope with. Surely it's time to bring in Rahul Dravid as main coach to take some of the pressure off after all the excellent work he's done for the under-19s and 18. 270 for 5. Pant on 79. Broad goes in to bowl to him. And Pant plays defensively back up the onside of the pitch, and Broad stops it with his boot and then rather disdainfully kicks the ball towards mid-on. 68th over with this ball. Well, Rahul Dravid is a legend of India cricket. He's been in this commentary box with us. He's working well, it seems, with the other teams below the main team. Broad bowls down the leg side. Bairstow takes it and lets it go, really, more than anything. Tried to glance it.
Well, he's got a young family, so I don't think he's available to do a full-time job with the Indian team. It's a full-time job pretty much, 8-10 months of the year. With the under-19, it's maybe a couple of months, maybe 3 months of the year, so that's okay for him. And that's what he said. That's not what I'm saying, but that's what he said. So maybe after 2019, the World Cup, maybe he'll be available, as his boys will be just a little bit older. So that is what he has suggested. Because when that email came through, when it said Virat Kohli has too much to cope with, for a moment I thought he's suggesting that Virat Kohli step down from the captaincy. Instead he was talking about Rahul Dravid, which in a way is suggesting that Ravi Shastri is not doing the job that should be doing.
Trying to get behind Broad here, who bowls. Pant has all the time in the world to get behind that. With this old ball, plays it to mid-wicket. It's picked up by Jennings, and that's the end of the over. 270 for 5. So India need a further 194 to win, and there are 40 overs left.
And the last ball of that over, Stuart Broad just ran straight down the pitch. And so Dharmasena has just told him that you must keep off the pitch. Broad, of course, just took his sweater and walked away, not even paying attention to what Dharmasena was saying.
Sorry, Sonny, I interrupted there. The reason for the roar in the background is Jimmy Anderson is coming on to bowl, who's not been seen with ball in hand since what time? About 11:30 this morning, Andrew? About 4 overs at the start of the day.
Oh, surprising. Because he didn't get much movement then, but he's a class act. He doesn't need a new ball. He can get the ball to reverse swing any time. So that's why it's been a surprise that he's been kept away from the attack for such a long time.
Right, half an hour to go until tea on this final day. And it's the Pant and Rahul show at the moment. Can Anderson change that? You get the record-breaking wicket. He goes in now, bowls to Rahul. And Rahul is on the front foot, pushing that towards mid-off. No great threat in that delivery. And Rahul is in now, he's got his eye in. He's batted superbly. And is equal to it. It was in January 2007 that Jimmy Anderson was caught Hussey, bowled McGrath. 563rd wicket of Glenn McGrath's Test career. Anderson bowls and Rahul opens the face, runs it around the offside towards backward point, and there is no run. And it was the 10th of September 2018 that Pujara was LBW to Anderson for naught, and that was his 563rd wicket. We've been waiting ever since for Anderson to break the record in the 3rd over of the innings, and now in the 69th. This is only 10th over in all. Anderson goes in and bowls to Rahul, is on the front foot again, solidly forward, playing that towards short extra cover, and there's no run.
In Antigua in 2015, he equalled Ian Botham's record for the most wickets for England in the 56th over of the innings, and he broke him in the 112th over of the innings. So that was a long wait as well.
Right. So what are you suggesting, Andrew? Sri Lanka in Gaul in the first test?
Still plenty of time today.
Anderson up the stumps now and bowls to Rahul down the leg side, took it away for 4. It's gone down fine, it's gone off the pad, it has. It went very quickly, which suggested it might have come off the bat. In fact, it came off the pad. But don't worry too much about that, India. Just the ball is disappearing to the rope. Great frequency, 274 for 5.
That's the 150 partnership now. It's taken 192 balls with 19 fours and 2 sixes.
I did suggest yesterday, when people were saying, you know, what else is left in this game? I said, well, wait till India knock off a world record score to win the game. I didn't really mean it, and I'm relatively confident that it won't happen, or, you know, it'd be amazing if it did. Well, that really would be an I was there moment if they won from here. 190 more, just under 40 overs. Anderson bowls to Rahul, guys that away, down into the gully, or fourth slip, picked up by Stokes. I suppose the one thing I would say, as a batting side, 2 players in here, both Rahul and Pant, that it might just free you up a little bit. I mean, it's a long way away, but it's when it gets under 200, if you're still free scoring, it gets under 150, you think, well, perhaps. I mean, it is almost impossible from here, even now. Anderson goes in and bowls, and very nearly gets his wicket there, goes past the outside edge of Rahul's bat. Well, I think that was a maiden, wasn't it? With the 4-leg buys, the crowd applaud Anderson warmly, but he's still waiting for that wicket, and England are frustrated by these two. 274 for 5, and the point is, from here, if you're going to play shots to get up to that, what seems to be an impossible target, you're going to have to take a risk, and a risk is going to give England an opportunity. Sean on Twitter says, my daughter was born yesterday early morning. Our time in the labour ward has been accompanied by the reassuring sound of TMS. Cook's last game, Rahul's dogged resistance, and a long discussion on keeping balls warm. Well, there's been all sorts of discussions today. Ebony was involved in one that was just before lunch. That was rather disappointing.
Rather entertaining, I understand.
Disappointingly manufactured.
Trying to get in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, so I thought I'd bring my high-quality one-line jokes to the party.
I think you need to do a few more open mic nights, Ebony, before you get there.
That's all the content I've got, if I'm honest. But it's good to be here. I have to say, I've been fortunate as a summariser. I've had Cook walking out to the wicket. I had Cook getting his 100. I don't know, maybe there's an omen in there for Jimmy. His last ball was up there. He had a bit of pace, nearly 85 miles an hour.
Well, the next thing might be Pant getting his 100 the way he's played. He's 79 not out from 105 balls. And he's on the attack. Just to break for a moment there, almost as if Root was slowing things down and making Pant wait. Actually, it's a tactical change. Bairstow is going to stand up to Stuart Broad. So they're presumably forcing Pant back into his crease, where he was batting outside his crease. Wasn't that obvious early on, but he's obviously got to go back behind the line now. And here is Broad charging in, bowls to Pant, and Pant runs this away for 4 down to third man. Another boundary. Takes Pant to 83. And India continue to bound along here. 278 for 5.
Well, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen anybody stand. I'm not sure I can even recall anyone standing up to Broad. And you've got to be careful of your length as well. You don't want to get too full, get that sort of inside edge that might fly through. And then getting that fraction shorter means that there's a bit more room to play the shot. So, a little tricky moment here. England trying to find new ways.
278 for 5. Broad round the wicket, bowls to Pant, who plays defensively into the onside towards mid-on, and there's no run. And one of the reasons it pushes the batsman back, possibility of pinning them LBW. Get the keeper to stand up. And just looking at him, I mean, no, he is right back in his crease. 83 not out. Rahul's 100 off 118 balls. Broad bowls to Pant, who's going quietly forward, playing it back to the bowler. Broad stops with his boot, and there is no run.
For Bairstow, who's just coming off the back of a finger injury as well. It's not like Broad is holding back here. He's pumping those knees. And he's got a bit of sharp work to be done behind the stumps.
Yeah, I mean, what does any self-respecting fast bowler think about this? I mean, obviously Root would have consulted with him. We've just done it. And Broad charging in and bowls to Pant, who comes forward and angles that away towards backward point, and there's no run. I'm just looking for the speed gun on Broad's delivery there. It hasn't come up yet. There we go. Well, that was 77 miles an hour, that one. Got a slip. Cook, who it can't be easy fielding it slip in the situation where the keeper's standing up to the pace bowler. His view is obscured. And then there's a fourth slip. So who is Stokes? Broad bowls. Pant has all the time in the world to get on the front foot and defend a ball of 81 miles an hour to Root at extra cover. Root, in his pre-day interview today, did say it's a very good pitch and we're going to have to work extremely hard to get these last 7 wickets. I must say, when I heard him say that this morning, I thought, well, that's the sort of thing captains say, will have to say anyway, but it's proved to be the case. Well, he batted on this pitch yesterday. 278 for 5. Broad goes in and bowls to Pant, who thick edges this for more runs. It's going down towards the third man boundary. Butler's after it, won't get there. Well, 8 off the over. And it wasn't that bad an over from Broad. 8 off the over without even trying. 282 for 5. Pant goes to 87.
I've been doing my rough maths for a little while. It just feels like going into tea over this last half an hour since it came in. They'll be looking at that sort of 300 mark. And if that's the case, they're just looking for 150 in that last session. They have been going at around that 3.5, 4 mark, I would have thought, for a while. So if they have a good, solid session now, just this last little stint, and then a solid hour, well, I think they'll keep their eyes open for sure.
Partnership is 161. There are 38 overs left in the game. India 282 for 5. Their target is 464. Fantastic partnership between these two. Pant 87, Rahul 140. And here is Anderson going in to bowl to Rahul, and he's forward, playing that defensively towards mid-off. And there is no run. I'm just going to hand over there to Jonathan, but he broke the equipment. I just allowed him to repair it.
I think I broke the same thing last week.
Okay.
Never mind. Well, so 282 for 5. The game goes on. And where has Jimmy Anderson been all this time? That's the question. Very odd. It's not a strange bowling decisions during the course of this afternoon, I must say. But he's on now with a slip, a gully, and the strange thing now is, of course, the new ball is just round the corner. In comes Anderson. Bowls on the off stump, and he's forward now. Rahul playing to point. So the new ball's due in 10 overs. He and Stuart Broad are both bowling at the moment, and just started, really. Why didn't they bowl earlier, have a rest, and then take the new ball? I don't quite get it, Ebony. If I'm honest, there will be a tea break, of course, between, but even so. And then it's a question of the light, which is not good. Do well to get everything in today, I think. 2-8-2 for 5. In goes Anderson. Bowls on off stump. Bowls on the back foot again. So Anderson a little bit short at the moment. Lone fields at point. So always easy from up here, of course. But, well, there are lots of up here's, people sitting out in the crowd there also. I'm sure wondering what's going on a little bit this afternoon. Taking nothing away from these two. Played really well, and there's still a long way for India to go. 182 runs to score. Then goes Anderson, bowls, and rolls to hides the bat inside the pad. And an option, of course, could be that if India start to get even a slightest little, tiniest little sniff, possibly, of winning a game, they'll have to get a bit of a move on, of course. But that might loosen up a shot or two and helping them get a breakthrough. But anyway, at the moment, these two are doing everything they can to save the game. 282 for 5.
Another ball will be available just the other side of tee.
Anderson on his way. Bowls to Rahul. He's there now. He comes well forward. That's played really beautifully today. And that's picked up at mid-on by Broad. He's got his cap on for once. He normally wears a sun hat.
I can't see him. Where is he?
He's at mid-on. Walking around rather gingerly.
Yeah, I've
but,
never seen him in a hat, actually.
No, very, very unusual. Just shouting going on down there. Lots of come on Jimmies by the sounds of it. And he's on his way, kicking up his heels. In he goes now. Bowls to Rahul, who works off his pad. Finds mid-wicket. And there's no run. Tidy over from Anderson, but very well negotiated by Rahul. Who's on 140. Pant 87. 282 for 5. So England need 5 wickets to win. And there you go. Michael Vaughan was saying earlier, look at the caption when it changes. You see what people are thinking. It now says 5 wickets to win. India need 182 runs to win. So the TV people are just starting to hedge their bets a little bit.
Maths-wise, it's pretty simple, isn't it? You know, you think get closest to 300, that leaves you 150. If they have a good first hour, you only have to go at 3s to add half of that.
We've got nothing to lose, so that's the point. The series is gone. It'll be, amazing if they scored these runs, but there's still a long way to go yet. So he's turning now to Adil Rashid from the other end. So from the pavilion end, and Alastair Cook's been dispatched into quite an unusual place for him. He's heading off rather deep point by the look of it, out there on the offside boundary. He's still got his protective gear on under his trousers. So, no, where's he going to go? He's going to come in again, actually. He's coming in. There's a substitute on. He's heading out onto the boundary. Dawdling. There's been between overs, which has been saved really by the fact that England have bowled lots of spin and bowl their overs quite quickly. But anyway, we're finally ready now. Rashid licks his fingers, spins himself a couple of catches and comes in round the wicket to bowl to Pant. In he comes and bowls. He's swung that miles. First ball and into the crowd. Well, that's not much of a sighter, is it? And he is a very exciting young batsman, this fellow. The Indian supporters are loving that. There's flags waving. He just wound up to the first ball and slammed it over deep straight mid-wicket for 6.
Wow, well, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? Ball coming in, made a decision early.
I'm having a bet with you.
Go on.
He goes to his 100 with a 6. He's on 93 now.
Oh, he started with a 6.
He's just the type, it seems to me. He's not. I don't think he's going to get there in singles. 288 for 5. He's looking at the field. Rashid from that far end comes in and bowls to him, and now he just flicks that away. Oh, he has got a single there. Takes it to 94. As Curran throws the ball in from deep backward square leg.
Well, that's fun, isn't it? It's the shortest boundary on that
Yes.
side. If the ball's coming into him, if he gets a couple of balls at him, he's going to go for it, isn't he?
Horrible way to start a spell, isn't it? The first ball thrashed for 6.
Good to be not a bowler anymore.
Well, it doesn't. It suggests the batsman doesn't think a lot of you, I think, isn't it? He's not exactly worried. Seems to be the message. Now, Alastair Cook's on the boundary, and he's getting a round of applause simply for turning up. It's rather nice down there at deep backward square leg. His wife, Alice, has just been in our commentary box too, which is lovely, bringing some of the family with her. Alistair's brother. It's Rashid bowling, one that keeps a bit low. Bairstow's appealing, but no contact with batsmen. After all these years and all that the community, their farming community, they listen so much to TMS. Never been in the box before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so come on and have a look. There's Rashid, bowls, and that's pushed away for 1. Out into the offside, brings Pant down to the business end again.
How long have you known Cook? You personally?
12 years.
And you've never invited him up?
No, he's always been playing. I couldn't have him up here. But a lot of the grounds, the families are quite inaccessible, aren't they?
Yeah.
What's Pant going to do with this? Is he going for 6 for glory? No, he's caned it into the offside. Really thrashed that off the back foot. And I must say that's very well stopped by Joe Root. That's a stinger. He absolutely lashed it. Horrible ball. It stood up and asked to be hit. He's going to go for a 6. Come on. Rashid moves in, bowls to him. Oh, no, blocks it. He blocks it. And the ball rolls away just a few yards, and it's picked up by Johnny Bairstow. So 290 for 5. Pant is on 94. I think he's going to go there. Rahul 141. We need 174 more to win. We've got just under 15 minutes to go until tea. Overs remaining, Andrew. So you're starting to get a little bit interested here, sort of.
Overs remaining 36. I'm
Not yet.
starting to get to the point where I'm thinking I may have to look up a few things.
Okay. So we're looking at about 6 and over, are we?
But I haven't bothered to
You
look
haven't
up
bothered
anything
yet?
Well, yesterday your power in your laptop got tested out. There's a potential.
Smoke was rising. Well, Anderson has peeled off his sweater. You could clearly see the shadows there at the players' feet. The light is not good. Listen to the crowd, they're saying, come on, they're getting a bit worried here. We thought you were going to do this at 11:05. And here we are at 3:30, and you still haven't got your wicket. Saying, come on, let's get it done. 290 for 5. Rahul's on strike on 141. Anderson runs in, bowls to him, and he's beautifully forward, wanting a single. Pant says no, not coming. And it's filled by a Root there, probably still wringing his hand a bit. He did hit that one hard. Umpire Wilson looks a little bit unsettled by something. He takes up his position, he moves from behind the stumps to take up quite a commanding position where the batsman would be standing if he was facing that end, and sort of issues some sort of instruction or possibly even a stare. He was up to something there. I didn't hear him say anything. 290 for 5. Anderson on his way again. Bowls on the off stump. Again met by a forward defensive stroke by Rahul. Heard a shout of well bowled Jimmy. I think that came from Johnny Bairstow. Anderson scratches there at the ground. His dad's upstairs. Michael waiting patiently. So what's going on? So I don't know.
Who's that? Jimmy's dad, is it?
Yeah. It was odd. It's bowled 4 overs. Wasn't seen again until mid-afternoon. Anyway, he's got the ball in his hand now. It's the 73rd over with it. Question is, will that second new ball do the business for England? Anderson runs in, bowls to Rahul, who's solidly onto that front foot, playing back up the pitch. And Anderson fields.
Well, right now, it looks like so much time for the batter as the ball comes off the pitch. You're used to seeing it zip past.
It needs that new ball, doesn't it? See what happens. Here's the 4th ball of this over. Anderson wheels round again. That familiar approach. Striding out. There he is. Bowls to Rahul again. I mean, that's as solid a defensive stroke as you'll see. standing up forward, an immaculate straight bat, but also a dead bat. None of those little pushes that we've seen during this series from batsmen who think they're defending but actually aren't. You know, finding the edge. 290 for 5. Someone else clapping down there saying, come on. Anderson over the wicket, bowls to Rahul, again forward, bending that left knee. A dead bat once more. Root fields. Feel the crowd willing Anderson on. There's a very broad bat down there at the moment. And he's got one ball left in this over. Something quite urgent, these shouts. No, come on, Jimmy. 290 for 5. Anderson, last ball of the over, runs in, bowls to Rahul, who turns into the leg side. Well, nice tidy over, but easily negotiated by Rahul on 141. And now we have Pant on 94. Oh, I think it's going to go. I think Rashid here must bowl. His first ball's got to be a wrong one.
A googly.
It's got to be a googly. He's going to go for the big hit. Ben Stokes is instructing Rashid here, or at least is passing some ideas to him at what he thinks he should do. So quite a long conversation happening there. The batsmen are having a natter. Now Root is talking to Rashid.
They've got one man out, haven't they, on that leg side?
They have.
But anything in that arc, very short side of the boundary. We're going to go from Stonewall at one end to...
Yep.
Having a full-on dart at the other.
It's gone pretty quickly from 50 to this position. Now let's see what happens here. Root's talking to him. Looks like he's going to come over the wicket by the look of it. Change of approach. Pant looks around that leg side field. Very tempting short boundary. They've already found down there at wide mid-on. Is he going to go for it? He seems it's the sort of character who will. He's on 94. Rashid comes in, bowls to him, and he just nudges that into the leg side, scurries a quick single, back the fields. Perhaps he's going to do it in singles.
I think you'd quite like him coming over the wicket. I think the angle-wise, it allows him, if he wants to free his arms, a little bit easier.
So Rahul on strike. More applause for Alastair Cook, who trots down to deep backward square leg. The same people who applauded him a moment ago for turning up down there. 291 for 5. Twiddle of the bat. Rahul looks around. He's seen there's a big gap there in the leg side. He's going round the wicket to him. The bowl's short and it's punched off the back foot down to Anderson, fielding it mid-off. 291 for 5. New ball away. 6 overs away, actually, it is now. Rahul 141. Rashid round the wicket, bowls. Almost hit on the pad, but that's pitched outside leg. It will probably have bowled him, will probably have hit middle stump. But not out. I did see an LBW given like that. It was the worst LBW decision I've ever seen in Test cricket. Here's Rashid bowling, and it's pushed away square into the offside. It was at Gaul, actually, where we're headed to next. And the bowler was Jayasuriya. The batsman was Alex Stewart. The ball landed at least, I'm not going to exaggerate, 2 feet outside the leg stump. Spun in, would have hit the stumps. Jayasuriya appealed, poof. Umpire gave him out. Can't remember who it was an Indian. Here's Rashid bowling. He's gone for it! He has gone for it! We knew he would. And Pant reaches his first 100 with a 6. It was just so on the cards. What a wonderful blow. Precisely where we thought, over deep mid-wicket. What a character this young man is. 20 years old. Off the mark in Test cricket with a 6. And the Indians in the crowd love it. His first Test century in his 3rd match. We'll see more of him. There's no doubt about that. A real modern breed, the young breed of Test cricketer who brings his shortened form of the game into Test cricket. And he liked that one. He licked his lips as the ball came down, then he smashed it into the crowd. Well played. 101 not out. 298 for 5. Rashid again, over the wicket, moves in, bowls him, steps away this time and hits into the leg side. Not to hit so powerfully this time. 298 for 5.
But what an entertaining innings that
Yeah.
was. You sensed it, like you said, you called it in terms of his character, but also I think the angle from Rashid, short boundary, I think it put more odds in his favour to go for it in that manner. But young player, must be one of the most entertaining hundreds, I would say, well, innings of this series so far. Well done to him. 20 more years in the tank.
Yeah. Just on, wasn't it?
It
just
was.
felt.
In the slot.
Yeah.
Well, his first Test 100's come up with just 117 balls, 14 fours, 3 sixes, 148 minutes. Make him the 4th Indian to reach their maiden Test century with a 6. Kapil Dev,
Inevitably.
inevitably, Irfan Pathan, and Harbhajan Singh. being the other ones.
Did he? Okay. Yeah. You can, I mean, you can tell by the character a bit, can't you? Come on, India, they're shouting now. The target is 464.
I felt 300 by T.
Yeah.
It's looking that way.
Now, Anderson will continue his bowling to Rahul, who's on 142. Gone to his shell a little bit recently, and Anderson bowls to him, basically comes forward and plays into the offside. Anderson looks a bit frustrated now, he's thinking about his field, I think. He's quite defensive, but then the ball hasn't really beaten the bat very much, but he's really only got one slip there in the catching position, and a fine gully. And he mops his brow, hitches up his trousers. Root polishes that ball hard, not much shine left on there now. And throws the ball to Rashid. Little chastened there, I think, with those 2 sixes. 6 overs for 34 he's bowled. Nope, that's one out of date. 7 overs for 42, thank you. Anderson runs in now. He bowls on off stump. And Rahul then plays very late. Sets himself up and the bat comes through at the last possible second, and now it looks like he's going to bring Bairstow up to the stumps as well. We saw this happen with Stuart Broad. So they're trying to get the batsman back into his crease.
Bit of information passed over Aggers.
Oh yes, another 20,000, a chance to shine.
Was there an upper limit? This test has turned into
well,
very fruitful one for the charity.
it has. I think Mick can afford it, can't he? Let's go and do another show. In goes Anderson, bowls outside the off stump, nicely taken by Bairstow. Be challenging this, standing up to James Anderson. I think you know more or less where the ball's going to be, which is an advantage.
Kingston in 1983, West Indies, India. West Indies in the last session made 173 to win the Test match, having taken 4 wickets in the last session as well.
Ooh.
India started 160 odd ahead with 6 down. West Indies knocked over the 4 wickets quickly and chased the runs in 25.2 overs. Viv, of course, 61 of 36.
Yes. That wasn't the match where the conceding went on, was it? When was the one when Bish and Bedi threw the towel in?
That was 76.
Oh, right. Here goes Anderson. Bowls, driven nicely by Rahul, but as far as Moeen, they're at point. No run. 298 for 5. They've actually had no one fit left, and those that were fit to bat didn't want to. So he lobbed the towel out.
We're done.
Yep. How long were they down? Were they 6 down? Yeah, 6 down. 6 down all out, thanks.
Was it an actual towel or was it just...
5 down. Oh,
we're
5
done.
down.
We're
Yeah.
done.
Oh, the towel lobbed out of the dressing room door. 5 down. We don't want a bat. 298 for 5. And Anderson loses his run. Mind you, who was bowling? It was the full crew, wasn't it? I think cruising in, holding Daniel and co.
Oof. Yeah, no,
Well, Bish himself wasn't much of a batsman. He was captain.
it'd have to be the bed sheet
So well, he didn't want to. He didn't want to bat.
to get the towel.
What other injuries there were? I mean, 5 down. That's not many to put your jacket in, is it? 298 for 5. Anderson, with the keeper standing up, runs in, bowls. Rahul allows that to pass by, and Bairstow gathers it cleanly.
Well, the Pant stat, by the way, he's the first Indian wicketkeeper to make a century in a Test match in England. The previous highest being Dhoni in '92.
Well. That's a proper stat. Think of who they've been. Farouk Engineer, for instance, he was a proper batsman. Loaned from batting for Lancashire at times. 298 for 5, approaching tea, so with the last over. And Emerson wheels round. Sun trying to break through now, actually, from this cloud. In he goes. Bowls on the off stump, but again there's no stroke from Rahul, and once again the ball thumps into Bairstow's gloves. He turns and heads off. And that was a brilliant session for India. No wicket for 131 runs. And these two, well, they played in vastly contrasting styles, of course. With Rahul 142, Pant 101. And he's taking his helmet off to reveal an absolute shock of hair and a lot of colours. I think you might rather like that hairdo. Yeah, but there's a bit of gold in there, there's all sorts. A bit of work has been done, I would say. But he's not a shy customer. And it rather shows by the hairdo. He's like a young Kevin Peterson. Anyway, he has played well there. Some wonderful strokes. And we're left tantalised, really, because India need 166 more. England need 5 wickets. Shame it's not a series decider, isn't it? What a game it would have been.
Yeah, well, what a session, I have to say. Well done to India. I think looking at the way Pant plays, talk about young, fearless cricket, well, he's really made himself known throughout this whole tournament, but I think to go to 100 in that fashion, and again, they're dovetailing nicely. Rahul is being solid behind, and Pant is keeping up the aggression, so it could be an interesting, tough session. I think this series has provided a bit of everything, and each session you can't predict. This whole Test match, you haven't been able to predict the momentum at India. Well, they could not only save it, and they have the opportunity to take the honours from a final Test.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen.
We've been saying that all day.
Well, it's been that sort of Test match, but that's a lot of runs. The light actually is better now, so that's lifted. But anyway, we'll remain tantalised during tea.